Entrepreneurially Thinking is a presentation of BioSTL and CET, Center for Emerging Technologies, with RareGem Productions, changing the way you view new ventures, including you on the pathway to success with your business in the St. Louis marketplace and beyond. Here's your hosts, Cheryl and Christy. Now let's get thinking entrepreneurially.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurially Thinking podcast. We're back again to energize your entrepreneurial mindset and create pathways for business success in the St. Louis marketplace and beyond. I'm Christy Maxfield, Director of Entrepreneur Development Services at the Center for Emerging Technologies.
And I'm Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Moore, Director of Bioscience Inclusion Initiative for BioSTL. Hey, Christy, we are back here.
Yes, and very excited to be visiting with some new friends today.
Yes.
So we are delighted to have you all back or joining us for the first time for what is now our third season. More than 5,500 plays and downloads later. We are thrilled to be helping you understand the St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem and really challenge you to think entrepreneurially wherever you are. We love putting these shows together, and we are always especially fond of having folks in the studio to have conversations that will inspire and engage you.
And can I also say that It was so nice that the St. Louis Regional Chamber just recognized us as one of the podcasts recommended to listen to.
Yes, I believe Movers and Shakers would be listening to our podcast among others. So it was a very nice for that highlight to come out. So if you're looking for a new podcast for your workout or your commute, we encourage you to download Entrepreneurially Thinking. And you can stay connected with us on all of your favorite streaming platforms, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or by visiting our website at entrepreneuriallythinking.com.
So we live in a very diverse city with hardworking people. Many of the folks in our region are hardworking immigrants that are helping to make St. Louis a great city and region to live, work, and play. The St. Louis Mosaic Project is a wonderful organization that helps to ease the transition for many of these individuals as they make St. Louis home. A couple of episodes ago, you might have heard Betsy Cohen, who is the executive director for Mosaic, on the podcast with Julie Lee, who is the founder of Create Space Generator and Lulu Fresh Express. If you guys have not eaten at her family's restaurant,
you've missed out.
Missed something. So today we have Vin Ko, a friend and colleague from Mosaic, and he brought Cuong Dang, an energetic and ambitious entrepreneur who hails from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. In 2015, Cuong received the Diverse Business Leader Award from the St. Louis Business Journal. And in 2016, he was inducted into the Regional Business Council's Leadership 100 Network. I don't know what the hell. This guy is just busy and making inroads
and made
here.
time for us. So we're very pleased.
We are so happy he's here. So when we come back from the break, we'll speak with Vin and Cuong and find out how each are impacting the St. Louis market and learn more about Cuong's businesses, Enliven and Lac Brewing Company, as well as other organizations he's involved. I don't know when you sleep, but we'll find out more. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Now here's Make It Happen with Keith Sales Pro.
According to Peter Handel, the CEO of Dale Carnegie Training Institute, here are 5 essential rules for great presentations. Number 1, be yourself. If you pose as somebody you're not, your audience will know you're insecure and therefore disbelieve whatever you're saying. 2, tell stories. The purpose of a presentation is not to convey information. You can do that with a data sheet. The purpose of a presentation is to show how the information has meaning for what you're doing. Number 3, practice. The very best public speakers make it seem as though the ideals are so new and original that the speaker is slightly surprised at what he or she is saying. 4, socialize. Audiences consist of individuals. Always arrive early and try to get to know some of the individuals in your audience that you're speaking to. And number 5, brevity. For every presentation that wrapped up too early, there are 1,000 that have gone on way too long. Today, remember, it can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Follow Keith Sales Pro on Facebook or Twitter at Keith Sales Pro, or visit his website at keithsalespro.com.
It can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Hi, I'm Vin Ko. I'm with the St. Louis Mosaic Project. And when I think entrepreneurial thinking, I think risk-taking and people that are passionate about what they're working on. Because without that passion, you're less likely to take that risk.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're really excited to get this conversation started. Vin, just for those folks who may not have tuned in when Betsy was here earlier with Julia, if you could give us a reminder of the work that Mosaic's doing and a little bit about yourself, that'll get us started.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on. So the St. Louis Mosaic Project is a regional initiative part of the World Trade Center of St. Louis and the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership to really grow the region by attracting and retaining more foreign-born people to the region, addressing issues of population decline, but also growing the region's economy through entrepreneurship, international student retention, working with professionals and helping them connect to opportunities in the area, and overall building a welcoming and inclusive community in St. Louis.
And how long have you been working with Mosaic?
So I've been at Mosaic for about 2 years. I'm originally from St. Louis, went to undergrad in California and decided to come back.
To the Midwest? You were to California and came back to the Midwest.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you is what you're supposed to say.
Yes, thank you.
All my friends in Santa Barbara were like, what are you doing going back?
Santa Barbara?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And that just proves the wealth of resources and opportunities
Yes.
here in the St. Louis region. If we could have a homegrown, talented professional leave and come back, and young, I might add,
Yes.
you know, those are beautiful things.
Heaven.
Shocking, but beautiful.
I knew I wanted to have an impact, and when given the choice, my parents actually live in California now, but like when given the choice of having a community impact in California or in my hometown, I knew I had to come back to where my passions actually
That is
lie,
admirable. That is great.
And
we
in all
need you.
seriousness,
Yes.
a really important
What you
piece
guys are doing.
of what's going to make St. Louis great, what does make St. Louis great. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
but in all honesty, all my friends, my family were like, what are you doing?
A mental health check is never a bad thing. It just makes sure everybody knows what's going on,
But
right?
you always have some place to go to, too.
Oh,
See?
yeah.
That's great.
Clearly.
That's great.
And Cuong, can you tell us more about yourself?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Cuong Dang, and I was born and raised in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, formerly known as Saigon. A lot of people don't realize that. I run a company called Enliven. It's a software consultancy, and we focus mostly on...
So I'm going to stop you there.
Yes.
You started in Vietnam. There's a whole gap of stuff there that happened before you started in Enliven. So
She wants a little bit more detail.
Oh,
Yes.
you want the whole journey to...
I was a young man. No.
The journey to the west.
journey to America.
Hey, you ended up in St. Louis. That's also remarkable.
Yes.
So we're just curious.
I once found a cheeseburgers in Vietnam, and I was like,
Send me there.
excuse me, where can I find these things? And they said, USA.
Wonderful. I
Here
met
I
my
come.
husband on the East Coast, and he said, there's real estate that will not cost us our life savings. I said, where is that? He said, the Midwest. So really, all
See?
it takes is an inquiry.
Exactly.
I was born and raised there. I moved to St. Louis. I actually went to school here.
Okay, great.
In late 2002, I went to Maryville University.
Great.
It's a small college out in
We love Maryville.
West County.
They have great partnerships with Maryville.
Oh, great! I run the National Leadership Council now. I'm pretty involved in the alumni network and working with the board of trustees and the president, Mark Lombardi.
They're very lucky.
really great people.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful college. So I spent a couple of years there. Stayed in St. Louis. Worked for various software consultancy.
Okay.
And then before I started my own business. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What made you think about starting your own company?
You know, a little bit of a personal experience in terms of the desire to have the freedom of location. I love traveling, and my family still lives. All of them, actually, they live in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
I came from a really big family. I'm one of 8, and
Wow.
they were married with kids, and our family trips include like 20-something, 30 people together in different countries. It's
That's awesome.
when we took a trip to Japan and clash and culture that really loud, and they're very quiet. And they banned us from the country. No.
I really do think we might be related
was gonna
because
say
my
that.
family tends to be loud and shushed in what are normally loud places. So I feel a theme.
I think so. My family is the same way. When we travel, we say, "Here come the Clampets," because we got a whole contingent.
So you can
with
see
us.
family trying to figure out dinner and walking down the
Yes.
street. And as you're approaching the restaurant, the hostess is like,
There's no room in the
there's
inn.
no room.
There's no room
You
in the inn.
looked over her shoulders and was like, there's plenty of rooms. Like, it's all
Full up.
booked.
It's all reserved. Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah.
Fantastic. So that desire to be able to work from wherever you wanted.
So there's from a personal experience, location independent, figure out a way to spend more time with family. I think is really important to me. Second, there's a missed opportunity when we, my partner and I, Ian Robinson, started the business back in 2012. Was the St. Louis technology scene lack the user experience expertise. This is the area where a lot of corporate America don't have good experience for even the customers or their employees from a sort of digital perspective. So think of a person working at State Farm processing claims, and this application is supposed to help them to feel like they can accomplish a lot of things, and they feel like the software and the technology is just kind of faded in the background, that enabling them to get things done.
Versus being a tool that is blocking them from
Yeah.
actually being productive.
That would make them feel very accomplished, feel efficient, and it makes the customers feel like they're very efficient.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so-
what I love about that is like, when we talk about technology, we don't often talk about feelings.
Right.
And you've just described a State Farm experience
Yeah.
that I don't think many people would look at from that perspective.
You know, that's a focus for Enliven was we're custom development and software firm. How do we differentiate ourselves? And when I started the business, before even that, I had an idea. My family always entrepreneurially thinking.
I love it.
I love the way he fit that
He
into
did that really
this conversation. Yes.
So they all own businesses in different industries. I grew up kind of living through it. But I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what I want to do. And I don't believe in become my own boss, because starting a business, like the world doesn't need another software firm. The world doesn't need another, restaurants or anything. They need something better and something different. So when I started the business, I looked at it and like, what value do I create by entering into market instead of diluting everybody else?
And
So-
it's quite insightful because, like you said, most entrepreneurs go into business thinking, "Oh, I've got, I'm going to create another something." But
Right.
you looked at it from a much deeper standpoint to
Right.
understand what is the true need out here, what is going on, and how can I fulfill that need.
And it's not hard. You look closely enough. There's a lot of basic principles that you just have to work hard enough to perfect it. It doesn't need to be thought-provoking or
Right.
brain
need-
surgery.
Doesn't need to be the next Facebook
Yes.
or anything like that. So
Right.
is Enliven your first business? I cannot believe that's your first business coming from an entrepreneurial family.
That actually my first business. I
Really?
was very nervous working for other companies and trying to do something for my own, but watching my family built and sold businesses successfully, I'm the one who, I don't know, is a curse or is a blessing, because they don't, the old traditional Vietnamese saying is that you're deaf, you're not afraid of gun. So you can't hear it, you're not afraid of it. So they try things, experiment things, and then if it failed, they learn from it, and then if it
love
works,
that.
they keep going with it. So when
You weren't deaf going in, though.
I was more educated than most of my family members in America. I was lucky enough to be educated here, and I was given a lot of knowledge here, and it makes me feel like there's a lot that I don't know. So I'm slightly not deaf anymore.
Yeah, it's hard once you're
So
woke
now I'm scared.
to get on woke.
It's like I can hear the pistol. Like, that's kind of scary.
That's really interesting, though, that
Yeah.
your risk tolerance
Yeah.
actually changed. And
It changed a bit when the more data that you take in, the
Yes.
more. I'm not afraid of risk. I wish to understand the risk more, but I'm not afraid of risk.
That's good to know. So, Vin, how does Mosaic, I mean, with folks coming in, foreign-born individuals like Dang coming in, how does Mosaic play a role in supporting them as they're starting to look at new opportunities, professional opportunities? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we have a number of programs that work with immigrant professionals, one being our Professional Connector program that we manage and run with the regional chamber. But surrounding immigrant entrepreneurship, it's really acting as kind of that connector, that convener to send them to the right resources that exist in the ecosystem, whether they're a Main Street business, restaurant, or a high-tech startup company like Dang's. Really connecting people to the resources that they need. We did a needs assessment in 2015 where we convened a board, an advisory board of immigrant entrepreneurs in the area that really, and we had a immigrant entrepreneurship fellow who really went out into the ecosystem to uncover what are the different needs that are specific to immigrants. And what we found was that the immigrant entrepreneurs in our area are in various stages of their business growth or in their process of starting a business, and it's really about connecting to the resources early on, some of those soft skills, the communication skills, and really building those up, but really connecting them to what exists out there in the ecosystem, because St. Louis does an amazing job already.
Absolutely.
And we have a ton of resources. It's just about really connecting people to what's out there.
I love that.
Fantastic. So how did you all get connected? They're looking.
As they look at each other.
Quizzically, when did we meet?
It's not here today on the couch, is it?
It was a sunny day at the World Trade Center.
Awesome.
We saw each other from the distance. Are you Asian?
Spark.
Oh my God, me too. All right.
No, yeah.
Let's do this.
Oh my God.
Awesome. Awesome. It was really that simple, folks. After that, well, you know.
Rest of history.
It's all
And
the rest
is
history.
history. Yes.
Now we
Yes.
BFFs.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
But clearly you're both busy. So even though you thought, hey, let's hang out together.
Right.
Well, luckily we serve on the Asian Chamber of Commerce board together, so we get to hang out a lot. Yeah.
Yes, that's the thread. Yes.
Fantastic. Excellent. So how do you actually make time to be part of all of these organizations while building a business? And I think you said you're married and have children. So you've got a lot going on.
I'm not married.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What did he say? He's married and have children.
I heard children. I assumed married. That was my
That was my
mistake.
family.
That's the family.
There was my siblings. They're all married and
they have
with
children.
kids.
Sorry.
So you're the great uncle. You're the fun uncle.
I'm the one who spoiled every kid.
Excellent.
Right,
And that's
that's
actually the role I play in the family, too.
You're right. You guys are
Yeah.
I'm the one
fun.
who get to take them here to America and said Big Mac and Haagen-Dazs.
And then they go back, and it's
They
all
go,
over.
Oh my gosh, Uncle.
And Haagen-Dazs. Let's go right for the top. I love it.
They go back and their
Excellent.
parents like, what happened to you?
Okay, so
America happened.
never the same. So nieces and nephews and businesses and being part of your community. How do you manage all of that?
I'm still learning how to manage it.
Amen.
I think it's I guess let's go back to the 4-hour work week book or so. I actually never read it, but I've heard it from others, and I talked to my good friend and the business partner is not Ian Robinson. He read that a while ago, but it talked a lot about the priorities in your business and in your life, and also you can't have multiple priorities. You just have to figure out how to make time for the things that you feel like you are the only one who can make it happen and has the most impact. The others supporting things, you can do it. How much value does it create for your business or for your customers? You sort of work it out with your employees and your teams to allocate these things together.
I love when I went on your website to, of course, dig around and get more information about the company and about you. But I love the fact that you have on your website that you look for employees and you talk about this work-life balance, and that, even when you guys were starting the business, you weren't looking to be working, 2,000 hours, a week, but you were looking for that balance, and those are the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. So I know we'll talk more about this because I'm really interested in finding out another piece of your business. Stay tuned. This guy has another business that we haven't even touched on.
And more things going on.
Yes. When we come back, we'll talk to you further.
We all have stress, and it affects each of us differently. NFL Super Bowl champion Roland Williams.
We can't say just because I've tried to reach out to 3 counselors and they didn't help me, I'm quitting now. Just because I failed in 9th grade and I failed 3 or 4 subjects, and I'm behind the 8 ball, I'm giving up now. Just because I committed a crime and I've done some things because of the pain and anger and a moment of anger, that doesn't mean that my life is done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I had a baby early on in my life, that means it's a wrap. No.
Alive and Well is attainable for all of us.
We have to have an inner spirit of learning what that means to persevere. That means continuing despite delay in accomplishing your goals. That's why I'm here today, and that's why I want to share with the young people.
Take the time to care for yourself and thrive, because when you feel better, you'll do better. You'll see. Visit AliveandWellSTL.com to learn more.
Hi, my name is Cuong Dang, and I'm with Enliven. When speaking about thinking entrepreneurially, I think of it as the opportunities and the challenges that you must embrace. You must be excited about the rewards. Of course, it's going to be ups and downs, but that's part of the fun. If it's always a smooth sailing, it's not as exciting, and everybody would be doing it. But if you love building something because of the challenges, because of the opportunities, that's what I think when I think about thinking entrepreneurially.
So as Cheryl mentioned, Cuong has a lot of things going on, and we've been switching back and forth between his first name and his last name, so you'll have to forgive us, but it's not as though we've added another person to the conversation. I just want to make sure that, and nor have we lost our minds yet.
Right.
So I just wanted to clarify that, though. But in addition to Enliven, you're also in business with Lac Brewing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, Lac Brewing is a microbrewery in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Because of my background, born and raised there, a country with about 92-ish, almost 93 million people, and there are only less than 10 microbreweries in the country compared to America.
That's a blue ocean.
Yes.
The market has thousands and thousands of microbreweries. I think that I read recently on the Sauce or Feast magazine recently that talked about 12 or 15 microbreweries coming up in St. Louis this year alone.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
It blows my mind. It's phenomenal.
It's like Portland.
So,
something like 70 just in that.
Yes.
So it's amazing. But the brewery in Vietnam was such an interesting experience because Vietnam is an industrial manufacturing economy. They produce a lot of household goods, similar to China. The economy is not as big as China, but it's very heavily influenced by Chinese economy and the American buying consumer buying market. So you see a lot of the products coming from Vietnam these days at the department stores. Because of these economic growth in Vietnam, the middle class is rising. They have more money. They and the boom of technology and social media. They get information a lot faster. I remember I grew up. I was born in the 80s, and I listened to my parents, my friends' parents' music. I would listen to Nirvana and Guns N' Roses and Kid Rock and all that stuff when I come back here. I moved to America and I listened to that, and they all like Nelly and Chingy and all that. I was like, what is this? And they're like, why are you listening to my parents' music?
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, go back to this, like the speed and information transfer from this side of the world to the other side of the world is a lot faster compared to the past. So because of that, the middle class is rising. They have more money. They desire more premium products from a modern society. Wine, craft beer. So we saw the need of an American craft beer, a brewery, combining with local tropical ingredients to produce something that match their flavor profiles and their cuisine over there. So that's what we did. We call it American brewing innovation in Vietnam with local tropical ingredients.
Oh,
So
sounds
you
amazing.
looked at opportunity again, just in a different locale, and match the needs of the folks that were there to bring that new innovation to
the country.
And the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard you mention co-founders twice. So, we often talk to folks about the need to build a team, and sometimes that's a formal co-founder. Sometimes those are other employees or advisors. What's been your experience with working collaboratively in that way?
I'm not a technical person. I'm not an engineer. My background is in international marketing and management, and I couldn't do anything about it when I get out of college.
That's why this man sees and understands opportunities
Most
and needs.
definitely.
Yes.
So I always believed in it's better to work with others that has complementary skill sets with you, and I picked the partners that can do what I can't do, and I can bring to the table what they can't bring. So we both can move the business
Play to your
out
strengths.
of the startup phase a lot faster. So both businesses, Enliven is a software firm, is mostly run by Ian Robinson. He's my good friend for the last 10 plus years. We have identical career path in the same company. We were speaking in the same conferences. We spoke at Microsoft conferences in across the country and in Europe.
Okay.
And we were invited to join other companies together as a team. So we did that for many years. It's like, why don't we just start our own business?
Awesome.
You do that, you do you, I do me.
Right. Exactly. Do
So-
you and do it well.
Right.
So he's a phenomenal partner, very patient. He runs the team from an operational perspective and innovation aspect from a technology perspective. I take care of the sales, the business strategy, marketing, and then putting a lot of these missing components together. And I enjoy that. There's a lot of challenges, and then seeing the process of building something is exciting for me.
Yes, it is.
And the same thing is Lac Brewing Company is my also good friend from Bend, Oregon. It's the world capital of craft beer. They have more breweries per capita than any other cities. And Lucas Jans, he is married to a Vietnamese woman, so he moved to Vietnam.
Okay.
I met him back in 2006 at a Microsoft conference in Vegas. I was speaking there, and the moment with like Vin and I met, but except this is the white guy. I was
But
on
still,
stage.
your eyes locked from across the room, and you knew it was
I
meant
know.
to be.
It's love at first sight.
Excellent.
So I was on stage speaking, and then after I got done with my presentation, he's getting up like, "Are you Vietnamese?" Like, "Are you white?"
Now that we've got that out of the way, let's do
So-
some business together.
Exactly. How
So
the
we-
heck did you all come from a technology conference and then start a beer company? I mean, how did
Vietnam.
that work? Just because you said you're from Vietnam, that did not work like that. How did you all come up
Well,
with this
I think
company?
it's what we always tell entrepreneurs is that you never know who you're going to meet
That's
and what
true.
value they can bring.
That's true.
Because I often get the call of like, I need to find a co-founder. Where can I find a co-founder? I'm like, well, there's no co-founder store.
Exactly.
I can't. It's not dial a co-founder. You have to go out and meet people, and you have to
Exactly.
find the people who have those complementary skills and who
All
see
right.
the world the way you see the world and are inspired in that way. So
I think it's just amazing that you have two ventures, two separate continents, and you're managing both. How does that work? I mean, that's amazing. Most people can't manage
Right.
two businesses on the same block. If they're on the same block.
The man does not sleep.
It's a lot of hard work in the beginning. Obviously, for not try not to underestimate that with a lot of people to take on these things. But the focus on that is my schedule is I take meetings as early as people give me.
Okay.
So I once had a meeting at 6 a.m. in the morning with an attorney in Clayton. That was the earliest meeting that I had. But
that's pretty good.
I like early mornings for getting business done, and then for Enliven. At night, my teams, Vietnam is 12 hours ahead of St. Louis, so that's the future. So we can call them like,
What happened?
what's the future like? I don't know, Trump become president. You can cut it out. I'm sorry.
Man, if they had only called us sooner. But anyway.
I know. We would have known about
Oh, man. Oh.
it. Love it.
Anyway, I always seek for advice, but that didn't go through in the future. But anyway, so at night I go home and then get dinner and then catch up with my team over there. But I was very fortunate to have these really good partners that they run the business for me, so I can create something that actually adding values to the business. But I'm not there to do the day-to-day business with them. So
and you have to trust people. You have to have a lot of trust.
Phenomenal trust on these things. I trust these two. They've been my best friends for 10 plus years, and I know their families, I know their kids, and they're phenomenal people. And there's nothing you can do without trusting people, because when you walk into this business and you have any hesitant, that's going to bother you.
Yeah. Contracts don't make good partnerships. No. Relationships make good partnership. Contracts just make sure everybody's clear as to what the terms are.
Exactly.
It's the common vision for the business, for what you both want to do, and we identify the things that a yearly plan to a quarterly plan to a monthly to a weekly from a goal-oriented perspective, and then time becomes irrelevant because you have goals and you have to keep measuring it. And you look at it, I need to get these things done within this week. I need to get these things done within this quarter because that will bring back the success to the business. And then you ignore the time and you focus on doing that. And you empower your team and your partners to do what they're really best at. And I think that's
fantastic.
It is.
It's very helpful for me to think about it that way. So instead of waking up like I have to go to work today, or this is the weekend, but then
it's goal.
Everything flows.
It's goal.
Yeah.
It's goal focus.
Yeah.
And how are you going to impact your customer, right?
And it takes a lot of discipline to do so. Like you have to review your progress very often, and
if you don't measure it, you sure as hell can't manage it, right?
And that's the thing, that goals without measure is just a wish or a dream.
Right.
That I want to get there.
It's a bad dream.
Well, and I would say if you ever are fortunate enough to get a 6 a.m. meeting with this gentleman, I think you'd be well served by the time you spend just being here for this period of time is enlightening as well. One of the things I did want to touch on before we go is, Vin, you mentioned the World Trade Center, and we have recently had a conversation with Al Lee from the Asian American Chamber, which is where you all met. So all roads, it's very St. Louis, right? Very small network of folks. But we talked a lot about not only connecting entrepreneurs here in St. Louis to other opportunities, but connecting those entrepreneurs with the opportunity to do business overseas, to connect markets, to connect people. And there's that relationship piece, and then there's also that acumen and knowledge. Could you guys both speak to that a little bit? Like, Vin, what you're seeing, and then Cuong, what you're experiencing?
Yeah, I think from the World Trade Center's perspective, the last 2 years, we've been part of the Brookings Institution's Global Cities Initiative.
Fantastic.
So we last year we produced the regional export plan to help U.S.-based companies in St. Louis begin exporting and building relationships abroad to increase the amount of exporting that we're doing in the region. Right now, we're working on the foreign direct investment side of things. We recently had the Minister of Entrepreneurship and Innovation from Ireland come into town and kind of speak at the World Trade Center. We did some programming. We just welcomed back the U.S. Ambassador to Ireland back to his hometown in St. Louis. And we're looking to further enhance and build those relationships abroad. And I think it's important for our region to really continue to focus on that.
And Cuong, are you seeing that as part of your business opportunities moving forward as well? Both of your companies right now seem to be rather place-based where they are, but there's that opportunity to actually work across regions, I would imagine.
Yeah, for both businesses, I think there's plenty of opportunities for us, and I think the World Trade Center has done a phenomenal job at studying the Mosaic Project, and the work that Vin and Betsy have been doing is tremendous. For Enliven, we're a software firm. We work pretty much on application online. We work with teams. Actually, we had a project in Norway. We never met them. We just work with people that we ran into at conferences and events. So it's borderless for us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities.
Well, that's how business is now. It's global and it's beyond borders. So,
Right.
Yeah.
and especially from a technology standpoint, you can work anywhere, right?
Agree. Yeah, and also the brewing company that we are trying to creating a premium craft, locally sourced craft brand that America or international companies missing in America.
Sure.
That we have a lot of beers over here, but we actually, I think there's a missed opportunities, or there's an opportunity there for a unique country-based flavors profiles. So think about Vietnam. When I say Vietnam, what do you think of? Like explosion of tropical flavors and mangoes and passion
Sweetness.
fruits and sweetness. Completely different. I'm not
Right.
saying it's better, but it's different than
Right. It is different.
what America
Right.
is used to drink. So I think it's an opportunity for us to connect together. And one thing I want to add is with the Mosaic Project and what they've been doing compared to when I first moved here in America, I wish that I had this sort of support back then, because I had to learn many different things by myself. But now, you get the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, you get the Mosaic Project, you get a lot of different chambers around that help entrepreneurs or even students from elsewhere to move here and to get assimilated into the community very, very quickly. And we don't have that. We never had that back in 2000,
That's a
the
great-
mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And I think Mosaic, you guys are doing a wonderful job with working with entrepreneurs from all over the world. So
I hope
great
if some of our
opportunity.
international students are listening,
Yes.
that they'll be inspired by both stories
they
to
also-
consider doing and staying, doing
In
business in
St.
and staying in St.
in
Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah. Another point I want to add is, we the Asian American Chamber of Commerce also, Ali, the president there, and I, we've been working together, and with the support of the World Trade Center, we take companies from St. Louis to go to Vietnam. I'm from there, and I have a lot of business connections today. And being a little bit biased, I want to show off my country.
Absolutely.
That's what
Absolutely.
it is. We did some successful trade missions in the last 2 years, and we brought companies here, Enterprise, Washu, Mizzou, Dimfalu Activewear, lots of different companies here that go over there, and they see it.
Right.
I'm sure they're blown
and
away.
It was exciting for them.
And now
About
we're
the-
starting to see the return side, where organizations and companies in Vietnam are looking to come over and check out what's going on here.
This May.
So we'll have to bring you guys back to talk about
Yeah.
all those great opportunities that might be coming back to St. Louis from just you guys opening up that door and opportunity. I want to leave you with, I love one of the quotes that you have on your website. I love this quote. We believe that living curious lives, indulging in the world around us, and taking time for rest provides just the inspiration and energy we need to be good at what we do. I think we can all take that quote and live by that quote. Be curious, indulge, in the world around you, but also take time to re-energize and be inspired. So I'd like to leave our listeners with this wonderful insight.
Well, we do have to add where we can find both gentlemen.
Yes.
So, Vin, if there are folks who want to be better connected to the work that the World Trade Center is doing, or the Mosaic Project, even the Asian American Chamber, where's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, so I would say visit our website at stlmosaicproject.org, or you can shoot me an email, vko@worldtradecenter-stl.com.
Dash.
Yeah,
Not underscore.
not underscore.
Excellent. And you, sir?
You can find me on our website at Enliven HQ. It's Enliven headquarters. EnlivenHQ.com, and that's my contact information out there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for
Thank
making
you.
time in your
Thank
very
you.
busy schedules to spend time with us and to really help
And
our
we had a
listeners
great time.
understand more about you, what you do, and the value you're bringing to St. Louis.
I have never laughed this much in my life. This has been
That says a lot.
great.
You've now raised the bar for humor, and I take that challenge.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
It
you.
was fun.
Changing the way you view new ventures, igniting your thinking about entrepreneurship, It's entrepreneurially thinking. Get connected and discover more. Visit our website for show notes, resources, information about our guests, upcoming events, and of course, all your favorite episodes. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them for us in the comment sections, and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. The best way to show love is to share. Let everybody know that you're thinking entrepreneurially. So visit our website, entrepreneuriallythinking.com. #ETHINKSTL. Entrepreneurially Thinking is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.